capitalism had a definition, corporate greed isn't part of that. It's its own definition, so not a rebuke as to why the Liberal government signed that into practice. So the Temporary Foreign Worker Program was created in 1973. It's only there for when workers who are Canadian or permanent residents are not available to do the job. You said that we subsidize up to 70% of their wages. This is all the reasons that we did it: addressing labor shortages, supplementing the workforce, filling specific job gaps, and labor market needs. But then welcoming newcomers, Electric Human Resources Canada, wage subsidies of up to 50% with a maximum of $10,000 for the first few months. So $10,000 over a few months to help them find jobs specifically in the energy sector, because I'm assuming this is lacking skilled workers in Canada. There's also a program that supports employers create internships and training opportunities for youth to gain skills, with funding up to $22,000 per participant. Then there's jobs like Canada Summer programs that offer employers incentives to hire Canadians. Capitalism is a system that exists, that has a finite time that it will work. And the reason why is the very system itself. I will give you a story. I worked at a gym selling gym memberships. You had a sales requirement. They'd been open for so long. They had sales requirements. You need to sell X amount of memberships. But the reality is that you have a location. It's set in this one spot. And there's a finite amount of people in the area that you can find to go to the gym. Eventually, in a capitalistic society, it only looks good when your gym is doing this. But unfortunately, you have a limited amount of people. And now some people might move in and out. So it's not going to completely just do this for the amount of memberships you get every month, but it's going to do this because eventually you're going to reach the limit of the capacity of the amount of people. Now take Facebook, for example. Facebook starts, they have Facebook running, Meta gets a whole bunch of people on Facebook. Now Facebook has come up with a problem in this capitalistic society, and the problem is that everyone's on Facebook. Majority of people who have access to the internet already have a Facebook. They cannot expand their Facebook, so then they start acquiring other corporations because it only looks good if your corporation is doing this. In a capitalistic society, in a society based on capitalism, you need constant growth. And one of the ways that you can inflate this constant growth is by having record-breaking profits, doing things like grocery stores raising the prices of things beyond what they need to in order to make more money. That makes them look good. They're getting record-breaking profits, which does good for the shareholders. It makes them more money. Another way you can do this is by hiring people from other countries who the government will subsidize their income. For a portion of that, you hire them, you bring them in. If normally it costs you $10, I'm just going to say $10 because it's an even number. You have a $10 wage that you'd have to pay a Canadian, but you have to pay a $7 wage to a foreign worker, or you get a kickback of the $3, the difference. It looks like you're spending less money on wages and therefore making more money. The problem has become that in this capitalistic society is that they're eating each other. Things are eating each other. You had mom and pop shops, and they slowly get gobbled up by grocery stores, big box chain grocery stores. Those box chain grocery stores are making more money because they're taking the income that would come from one group of people that maybe shopped at the mom and pop shop, and now they're having to shop at the big box chain because it's the only thing available. But the problem is there's a finite amount of people. There's only so many people on the planet. So these corporations have gotten so big and they're so large that they need more people, which is why they're so upset about the falling birth rate. Because in order to make more money, you need more people to buy your things. And you need more people to work for you for less money, which is why they have such high incarceration rates in the United States. Because if you didn't know, these people perform labor when they're in prison. Some of them actually pay to stay, which is where you actually owe money per day for being in prison. That's capitalism. It doesn't exist without greed. It is inherent to the system itself because the system is like the blob, like the movie The Blob, where it just rolls around and absorbs everything around it to get bigger and bigger. But as a whole, Canada does not have enough people to work to sustain our infrastructure. I don't know how old you are. When I was in school, all they talked about was the boomers and how as the boomers retired, there was not going to be enough people to work because the boomers was such a large generation of people that there wouldn't be enough people to work in nursing homes, to take care of them, to replace them in jobs. Where do you think we got those people? They're foreign workers. And I hate to inform you, you look white as fuck. You're not, your family immigrated here at some point. So you also or a foreign worker from some point in time. My family, indigenous. They kind of took everything from indigenous people, right? Now you're complaining that other people are taking it? That's capitalism. That's colonization. That's what the entirety of our country was built on. And the United States is even worse because their foundation for their entire capitalism was built on slave labor. People working for nothing, building things for nothing. And because they don't have access to slave labor, they have a very high incarceration rate. And it just so happens that they incarcerate Black people at a higher rate for longer sentences and harsher sentences for the same crimes that white people commit. It's not an accident. It is the very system that created both of our countries. And that's why it's called end stage capitalism, where we're near the end of capitalism because everything is just eating itself. Because everyone wants to be the biggest. Look at Jeff Bezos and Trump right now. Jeff Bezos sitting beside him when he gets elected going, yeah, he's gonna make me money. And now Trump has tariffs that are affecting Jeff Bezos' company. And he's going, well, you're eating me now. So I'm gonna put how much extra people are paying in tariffs. And Trump goes, don't do that. And he's going, no, well, fuck you. I'm not gonna get eaten. I'm not gonna get blamed for this, for prices skyrocketing. I want people to know that it's not my fault. It's cannibalistic. It's inevitable. There's a finite amount of people and resources. And hey, if you want to have an issue with temporary foreign workers, do you have an issue with the Aussies that are working at our ski resorts? I wanted to work at a ski resort in university. I wanted to work there. And there's a lot of Australians. Do you have an issue with all of the Canadians that go over to Australia and work in the fields and do an exchange program there for a couple of years and work? Because it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. But I'm assuming you don't have an issue with that because they're white. Which is once again why I talk about Albertans and their inherent racism. Not all, but the ones who are willing to out it repeatedly in comment sections.